Naruto 648 viewer comments. Let's go ahead and get this thing done. XX Average Legend, very short chapter, but I liked it a lot. The biggest thing I got from this chapter was the rivalry between Naruto and Sasuke increased. Naruto basically told Sasuke, hey, don't be reckless. I'm more powerful than you. This makes me believe that Sasuke will eat the fruit from the God Tree, obtaining massive power-ups like the Rinnegan and the Sasuke, and that'd be better for Madara's, I guess, plan. And then the response, Jigorsi, there is no fruit. Instead it will be an eye bloomed in the flow. Madara revealed that the Eye of the Moon plan would be complete once the flower on top of the Senju bloomed, the Jubi or whatever, which he then reaffirmed that he will be the one to control, right? And he'll do the body switch, probably using that Thunder God technique kind of thing, which he's probably stolen since he's pretty much gotten everything else. Okay. And the fruit, that's actually a really good question. Is that going to come into play? Is something going to happen that will make the fruit? I mean, look, it's not, some people just dismissing the fruit, okay? The idea is that that's what caused the problem, and that may indeed be what needs to happen to resolve it. That something, it may be yet reformed to have it make the fruit, and then it's for something else. It'll be able to fulfill its purpose, right? And maybe bring peace or do something which it should have been left alone. So I'm really curious on that. I have no idea, so I'm not going to automatically dismiss the idea of the fruit, you know, at all, because we simply don't know what's going to happen. Okay, appreciate your comments. Sage Blue 92. If Naruto can transmit his chakra like he did with the fourth, then shouldn't his Sage chakra transmit too? In that case, the Alliance can actually do something, maybe. I've been absent a while. Don't know if you remember me. LOL, glad to be back. Enjoy your vids. Well, welcome back. You're bringing up a really good point, because it's clear that Jugo was able to do that for Sasuke. And you bring up a really good point. And that goes in the flow that, you know, we are stronger together than we are as individuals, you know, aspect to this whole thing, which is brilliant. I really like it. And then in response to you is education. It's not Sage chakra, it's natural energy. Without Sage training, they can't absorb and use the energy, and they wouldn't need to get it from Naruto anyway because it's all around them. But if they could, that would be kind of awesome. I'd like to see a Sage mode Kakashi. Well, let me unwrap what you just said. It's natural energy, it's all around them. Without Sage training, they can't absorb and use the energy correctly, because this is an aspect, because right, we've seen what happens with creatures that can't balance out, they can't balance that nature energy with something else. They get turned into a stone frog. So I think that's what you're actually getting to right here. So that's a very good point. You could do that, and then if it was, now what if it was done in a low level, right, a very low level, then you would hope that none of them would get changed, but that might be enough to help protect them, or what have you, or pull off whatever they're going to do. It's still a good idea. I mean, that's one of the beauties about Naruto, is we can spend a lot of time speculating, because there's just a lot of possibilities, and Kishimoto's awesome at that. Really do appreciate everyone's comments. Gamer Saston, I will call this the Sasuke false SSJ Sasuke, since Naruto is SS kinda, but when he gets Rinnegan SSSJ Sasuke, because he has the potential to surpass Madara. And that's not a response to here. Appreciate your comment. Cal Legends, was really cool to see all the past Kages. I loved it. I would like to have seen a lot more. Me personally, I think Orochimaru situation is a 50-50 right now. He might try to take over Sasuke, or even just be a good guy, That would totally disappoint me. And revealed his plan all along was to make him the best. This is what makes us want to keep reading, because these mysteries that we can't 100% put our fingers on. This is true. That's absolutely true. Really do appreciate that. And then I mentioned that Kakashi was already there from something that and Janisorf was not the only person who brought this up. This was brought up by, actually ended up being brought up over time by quite a few people. It's the first person that commented here that brought it up. It was the panel what looks like Kakashi and it says land. So I feel pretty confident that Kakashi is indeed there. And so Capo Papa Goo, Kakashi is there? Question mark, what? And that's what I was responding to. I did mention it was in the previous channel or chapter, page 15, I think, for most of us, depending on where you read it at. But there is a panel. It's the one that says land. The guy, you know. Of course, depending on which thing you read, it could have been, you know, big bold letters in Japanese instead of being translated. So anyway, moving on from that. Appreciate your disbelief. Lumpy Rocks. If I'm right, the missed first Kage was one with the messed up eye. I'd have liked to have seen what that guy could do. He looks very interesting. Kishimoto could have so many. I really wish he would do this. Is just go off on a tangent in a while and just go, you know what? We're going to spend 6 months back in the day of the first Kages. I mean, I would love to see that, you know, but I guess it's kind of breaking the whole, you know, thing there. But I would love to have seen that. I would like to have seen what normally happens is kind of, you know, something that would be better filler. You know, let's go see. I would like to see him take a lot more time with these mangas, because we're really into it anyhow. And like I say, explore even freaking Tintin. I'd like to see some chapters and go and try to bring up. But there's 50 million of these characters, so people are like, well, hell, now you're talking. There'd be like 5,000 chapters of Naruto, and that's a bad thing? No, it isn't. Okay, but then again, maybe he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life, you know, with Naruto. He wants to move on to something else, which is probably true. He wants to finish his story up and do something else. And I have to say, I'll just go ahead and say, whatever Kishimoto gets into next, I don't care if it's a slice of life. I'm going to be reading it. I'm going to give it a total, absolute chance. All right, let's see. Lumpy Rocks. Okay, okay, you already read that. I already read that one. G. Gorsey, good chapter. You're right about Orochimaru. He's like a witch. Witch do not eat before they make the children fat. Orochimaru, wait until Sasuke is very strong, right, and take over his body, nice and plump. I got you. That's what he's doing. He's building this guy up. He's building his future body up. I can't wait. I know that like 90% of the people out there hate when I say this, but I want him to take over Sasuke. I want this to happen at some. I want him to succeed, and I think it's going to happen. I think this is one of those things. When it happens, I told you so. All right, and it'd be so awesome, so awesome. And then with the other 10% or 20% agree with me, it would be super awesome. Appreciate your comments. Awad Khalif, nice review. I agree about Orochimaru. He definitely will portray Sasuke. But I disagree about Jugo, Karen, and Suigetsu, because Orochimaru treat them as an experiment. And I don't understand why they would work with Orochimaru again. And I don't believe that Orochimaru is stupid enough to trust them again. And I have a question who Orochimaru will take Sasuke's body, because Sasuke is more stronger than him. Okay, two things in here. When the only person that Orochimaru is pissed at that really has disobeyed him is Suigetsu, and he's already said, you're not really part of Team Snake anymore. Jugo hasn't betrayed any. Jugo, let's just backtrack. I don't remember the proper name of awesome character, but I can't remember his name. The guy that pulled the bones out of his body. Kima, I don't remember. But anyway, who hooked him up? Jugo up with him. Orochimaru. Okay, he was part of the team. That's what happened there. Ocharu has been key in taking care of Jugo, trying to copy his abilities. He's a very important character to Ocharu. So, like I say, I don't see the betrayal except for Suigetsu here to why Ocharu would be upset at him, and I don't see why they would be fearful of Ocharu. So I don't see that. I mean, my point of view is different on that. So anyway, I really do appreciate your comments. All right, and let's see. And but like I said, I just want to say this. Orochimaru, if he takes over Sasuke's body, he still fulfills the role of letting Jugo stay, not have to go randomly be a crazy guy all the time. So, it's not costing him anything, and he's been Team Snake all the way. He's been Team Snake all the way, and just him possessing it, it's not as if he's saying I'm going to kill him. He's not killing Sasuke. So there's like I said, there's a few different mental layers and angles at this thing. All right, there's a few comments from G. Gorsey. And let's see. I'll read them from the bottom up. And let's see. We don't really know who that Ocharu lookalike is. You're bringing a lot of people brought this up. Could just look similar to him. Now, is it the whole idea that we find out that this Orochimaru isn't that kid, that he's been taken over by somebody else, that maybe he's been used by, let's say, somebody else that survived way back in the day, kind of did a Madara in kind of a way, maybe went and found one of his descendants and took him over or what have you? Okay, it's a scheming guy. It would be very interesting. But see, it's even if it doesn't come to pass, it's interesting to think about. Okay, now that you brought that up. Some of the Kage's right hand, he turned out to be the Kages themselves, but we have to assume some of the other ones died or had some other fate. It could be revealed that Orochimaru is related to that guy. I enjoy the idea of that some of the ninjas are from clans like Ino, Shika, Cho, but others have traits that make me think that they were from clans that were destroyed and assimilated. Sakura's random pink hair, or Kakashi's family being really strong ninja. Okay, you get 4 more comments. I'm going to go ahead and read those. G. Gorsey. And like I said, I don't know if these are. I'm going to read from bottom up. I don't know if that's. And it just says 2 days on them. So let me ask you some questions, please. Here we go. Please answer back if you can. First, do you know how the first Hokage died? No. He's the only Hokage that I don't know. Clearly, nobody killed him in battle. The only thing was, if I remember right from reading like a wiki thing, was he died. He was injured in that last battle or whatever, and that he subsequently died later on. But that's just my recollection of it, so I don't know. Clearly, nobody killed him in battle, but he also clearly didn't die of old age. Well, you bring up a good point. Second, what's your opinion on the power-up Sasuke just got? You're asking an extremely good question. The power-up as far as using Jugo as his mini-tailed beast. That's really, because Jugo will be able to do more for him. I mean, think of it this way. He had the curse mark to get these abilities. Well, what have we been talking about? It's obvious Sasuke is, okay, let's underline a couple things here. The relationship between Jugo and Sasuke, okay? Jugo needs Sasuke to keep him from just going randomly in beast mode, crazy man mode, right? And so they have a connection. They've been working together for a long period of time, and we've already seen how Sasuke was able to work and mix using energy and everything else with Naruto. So expect this out of him and Jugo. Okay, what do you want to call this combination of them? So anyway, so I expect a lot more than just what he's got. I really do expect the mini-tailed beast kind of thing out of him. So he's in. And think of another thing too. being able to access his own abilities, right? Like he had a curse mark, but he doesn't because he's actually getting powered up and getting these things accessed through Jugo. There's a lot of possibilities here. Jugo is important. For me, like I said, he's important. I'm still trying to work out everything with it, but he's a key. And now we're seeing this pairing, which I want to underline a lot because this is really important. I think we're going to see a lot more of it. He even remember when he almost died, when Jugo was dying. Remember the 5 Kage summit, and he's basically, his body just naturally creeped along and sucked the life out of one of these samurai characters. There's something. He got like a sliver of the fruit or something. There must have been some kind of teeny little sliver of fruit, and Jugo got a taste of it, and that's what happened to him, in my opinion. That could be something crazy like that. Anyway, let me get back to G Gorsi. Okay, okay, I answered. Okay, it's been shown way back that Sasuke can use Jugo's cells. He even did it in Killer Bee fight. It's not even Sage Mode power. It's just Curse Mark, right? So he's used to Curse Mark. Okay, we've got this. Curse Mark uses Natural Energy Chakra too. And Kabuto used Jugo's cells too. By the way, Sasuke wasn't surprised at Sage Mode. He was at him using Kurama's chakra. Where are all the samurai? Are all the samurai dead? Well, they're not. They just never been that big a factor. Okay, 5 Kage Summit. You saw how that kind of didn't work real great. Okay, Sasuke surpassing Madara. I don't think so. Madara was independent when he was young. He did not need anybody. But Sasuke was not independent. He needed help so he could go to Orochimaru. And then he was used by Obito, so Sasuke has a long way to go. I mean, Madara born with a I don't even know, chakra like Kushina Uzumaki. I kind of stumbled, mangled that a little bit, but that's your last comment at the moment. But it's hard to... He's got help from everybody. Sasuke's been helped by every freaking buddy, and Madara just seemed to be a genius looking for opportunities. So yeah, people keep comparing him, but I don't either. There's a part of him that just isn't. I don't know. It's like he always ends up. If you ever notice, the balance of power keeps shifting back and forth between him and Naruto, because Naruto's thing is not to give up. That's part of his character. And Sasuke's a genius, so he gets to that level, and he's looking down on Naruto, and then Naruto does something, or gets a power up or whatever, and it just freaks him out. Where Naruto sees it as a challenge, and Sasuke sees it as a threat. So you see how that is. He's motivated by the threat of someone else being more powerful by him, whereas Naruto just sees it as a competition kind of thing. Alright, anyway, moving on. Really do appreciate your comments. A lot of good stuff getting brought up in here. Armin Gregorian. What if Sasuke gets so jealous of Naruto and asks Orochimaru to give him the seal that he had before? Itachi took it from him. Forgot the name. Well, he doesn't need it anymore. It's got Jugo. And where did you see Kakashi in this chapter? I didn't. I mentioned it was in the last chapter. It was like page 15 or what have you. It's the one where he sees land on it, which I already actually answered this question before you asked it in this chapter. This viewer comments. Why can't Toby Ronaldo use wood style? Who says he can't? Well, actually... Well, it's his brother. You would think that maybe he can, but at like a really low level to where it would be something he would never use. I mean, what was his stuff? Water, time, space. He invented a lot of stuff. Maybe it's just as a writer. Kishi said, it's a bit much. So even if he's his brother, But I mean, good grief, you know, the number 2, except for racism, he's an awesome character. All right. All right, moving on. Appreciate your comments. A couple more from G. Gorsey I'll get through. Sasuke. Hey, he did not give a shit who died and who lived. And that's why he was so quiet all the time. He did not. He didn't care about any of them. He did not give a shit about his friends or Orochimaru. Sasuke is watching and waiting for his opportunity. Sure, Naruto is not the brightest, but that's just part of his personality. Many people like him you can rely on. Toby, and I'm kind of changing your words around a little bit, make it flow a little bit better for me to speak. Toby Rama notes that Naruto was in a lot of ways like his brother Hashirama, faults and all. And that is the second time they've said that. There's been a lot of, definitely a lot of that being brought up. We know that Naruto used his Nine-Tails chakra to go through Ino's mind-body transfer technique, but how did Hashirama do that? I mean, going through mind-body transmission technique, I really don't know. Sorry. All right, and let's see. Appreciate your comments. Let's see. KX Mixer X. Comment 1. And there's going to be some comments in between here. I completely disagree with you on Jugo betraying Sasuke. If Jugo has been consistent about anything throughout the series, it's that his loyalty to Kimimaro, and thanks for bringing that name up, is unwavering. And since Kimimaro made Sasuke like his reincarnation, so to speak, that loyalty has transferred over to him. And we've seen that Jugo has had no problem treating Sasuke with the utmost respect and putting him first over everything, even his own life. Look back at the point, the story with Team Taka, and then I'll read some stuff in between that. And now, I've already really gone in depth on this, right? And so I'm not really going to... Okay, I'll just highlight it real quick. Is it betraying if Orochimaru takes over Sasuke? Okay. Who is he more loyal to? Orochimaru, who's been the one that's really brought Kimimaro to him, brought Sasuke to him? Okay. Who is he more loyal to? Someone that's tried to take care of him, forever, it seems like. I don't know. And I don't think it's, like I say, is it disloyalty? The body, the mind is still kind of there. So it's not a clear-cut case of just killing somebody. But anyway, I've gone way more in depth than that. And there's a few more from Genesorf right here. Appreciate your comments, by the way. How boring. The only thing I liked was Hashirama getting told off by Toby Rama. That cracked me up. That part where he just... I don't understand that character thing in him. To me, it's too bizarre. It did look exactly like Kakashi, but now I'm not so sure. It would be epic moment if he came back. Well, you're definitely not the only person that brought that up. Did anyone see Orochimaru's father in this chapter? I'm serious. I can't make it whether it was one of the Kages or not, but it was in one of the flashbacks. Looked exactly like him. A lot of people, just like the other thing, have brought that comment up, and that's been a lot of fun, actually. Let's see, bring these comments up. Appreciate your comments. Case Mixer X comment 2. Attempted to capture Killer B, and I know I'm probably destroying the flow of this because I'm reading stuff in between, but it's in between. And you'll see a prime example of Jugo's undying loyalty towards Sasuke. Great review, though. I thought more time should have been spent on the Kage's flashback as well. And did anyone else notice how similar the guy standing behind the Mizukage looked like Orochimaru? It was striking, to say the least. Also, does anyone else find it ironic that Madara was the one that ultimately made Hashirama's dream come true? Well, it is kind of paradoxical, but that is actually true. Appreciate your comments. Mr. Marcus got a couple comments here. Listen, we got a lot of info about what the past Kage's and Hashirama's dream, and it's coming to light, but more importantly, who the hell was the Orochimaru look-alike at the Kage Summit meeting? Was that his father or him? Yes, the chapter was short, but there was some key plot holes in this manga chapter and some weird subliminal going on. Just read it again and you'll get what I'm saying. Anyway, great review as always, Steve. Appreciate it. Well, I guess we know that Sasuke is nowhere near Naruto's level. If he needs Jugo to perform ninjutsu, but why is that? Especially when he possesses more nature types than Naruto. Sasuke's nature types are blaze release, lightning release, and fire release. Naruto only has affinity and release, so I don't get it. Is there more to it than we know? Hopefully it will be more explained in detail. Well, my understanding is that those aren't really... Lightning's not nature. Lightning's lightning. I mean, I would think it would be, but I mean, in the Naruto, it's earth and lightning and water. These are all separate, and then nature is something separate from itself. That's my understanding of it. Really do appreciate your comments. A. Ismail. The chapter was a great start setup for the volume. I was glad the Kages finally showed up on the battlefield, plus the flashback was kind of interesting. I can tell things are going to get crazy in next week's chapter. Every week is awesome. We're getting so spoiled from this stuff. And A. Ismail continues. I think it's important for the Shinobi Alliance to know exactly how the system of villages and, the peace agreements is important. This whole balance of power thing was brilliant, by the way. They need to know that the dedication each village founder put in to establish a structured system. It's more like the current generation has lost its culture. Alright, really do appreciate your comments. And let's see. Michael Gethman. I love that Ocharu said this week, and what Kishi is hinting at, that Sasuke will eventually surpass Madara. I love that, and I really want to see that happen. I think Ocharu being the final villain would make sense now that he has shown sort of a trump card. If Jugo does help Oro take over Sasuke, I'm sure Sasuke has suspected something like this is going on. Yeah, they all know it. I mean, it was crazy. He just said, well, I'm not strong enough to take him over yet, right? When he got, I mean, he's been blatant about it. He's like, look, you can't really kill me, okay? You've tried to seal me, you're not going to get rid of me completely. And eventually get strong enough and I'll win. Because he only has to win once. Sasuke has to win forever. But when Ocharu wins and takes over his body, it's done. It's over. Sasuke is not going down easy. How did Sasuke go into Curse Seal mode? Jugo wasn't in Susanoo, and yeah, he was. And Sasuke doesn't have the seal. He was, from my recollection, he was right in there with him. So that's my recollection of it. Appreciate your comments. A little bit of a different spin here. And I'm not going to get this name correct, I don't think. Kayusuke Nakamura. Might even be close. I think that guy who looks like Ocharu fell in love with Hashirama on the 5 Kage Summit. You never know. You never know. You never know. And what would Madara's take on that? Jealousy or like, thank gosh. Anyway, moving on. He's like, I'm tired of that guy and being emo for me. Alright, G. Corsi wouldn't have his EMS without Obito, but he may have died a long time ago. If power wasn't handed to him, he is a prodigy, so what gets handed to him, he excels at. I don't think he is near as Madara. I don't think anybody's seeing him around that as near as Madara. Is way stronger than Sasuke will ever be. I mean, this man wants to take over the world while Sasuke is concerned about taking revenge. You put it very well. His goals are small. He's had tons of help. Nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying this. I mean, some people go, wow, I think it's kind of great, and then they have like nothing to add to it. And everybody else is like, okay, here are reasons that this doesn't make sense. G. Gorsi continues. If it wasn't for the curse mark, Sasuke wouldn't have never escaped Itachi's Tsukuyomi. He would never have killed Danzo, Itachi gave him Susanoo, killed by Deidara if he hadn't summoned Manda, killed by Killer Bee if it wasn't for Jugo, killed by the Mizukage if it was Tsuchikage if it wasn't for Toby. Oh man. Oh. That is the best. I'm going to read that last part again. If it wasn't G. Gorcy, you didn't just nail this. You did multiple nails on this thing, man. Freaking brilliant, G. Gorcy. If it wasn't for the curse mark, Sasuke would have never escaped Itachi's Tsukiyomi. There's one. He would have been killed by Danzo. Itachi gave him Susanoo. Killed by... There's another one, right? Killed by Deidara if he hadn't have summoned Manda. Killed by Killer Bee if it wasn't for Jugo. Killed by the Mizukage Tsuchikage if it wasn't for Toby. There you are. That's the freaking difference. And Madara's doing what? Fighting head to toe with the most powerful ninja, except for the Sage of the Sixth Path ever. Okay, and his mother too. You can't say that she was definitely more powerful. Okay, except for those two right there, exceptions. All right, I really do I more than appreciate that was my favorite. G. Gorcy, that was my favorite two comments in the whole. Just easy. You nailed it. You nailed it. All right, more awesome comments. NW Order for Life. That's my top favorite. I have several reasons for my belief. Okay, this is in reply to. Okay, there's a whole bunch of people replying to each other here. All right, hold on. Before I read this comment, okay, we get a bunch of. You know what? I'm just going to read them up in order. I'm going to read this. This is in reply to NW War for Life, and this is. I'm just going to read them up here. I have several reasons for my belief. First of all, how would Kishi draw Naruto's versus Oro Sasuke when this manga is ending? Sasuke was always meant to be Naruto's final fight. Secondly, Ocharu theme is one of rebirth. We already saw his sad flashback with his family, and he himself already clarified that his actions that were considered evil was just a road he took for his own sake. Now, however, he simply wants to watch Sasuke's growth. Essentially, he has been reborn as a character. Wow. DT Ninja 831. You have a point there. I think you're... Okay, I hate getting this all out of order. I really do. But when you get so many of these things going back and forth. But anyway, we go. You have a point there. I don't think that the manga is ending. LOL, I've been reading it forever. But I know that you're correct. It's coming to an end. I just think it would be better if Ocharu was still plotting all this time, and he still is a threat, maybe not on the surface, but behind the scenes like always. I hope Kishimoto is giving us some hint in this chapter to be more a reveal about the past. And let's see. Now I'm going to do some more skipping here. Actually, it says this is before that one. 1 hour ago. Okay, hold on. I think I got this. NW Order for Life. I have several reasons. 18 hours. Hold on. Okay. Okay, here we go. NW Order for Life. Ocharu's days as a villain are over. DT Ninja responds, I don't know if I agree with you because we clearly saw Ocharu gauging Sasuke's powers, and the way he spoke about it seems like he would be able to counter his Sharingan now. Maybe he has another jutsu in his arsenal that we don't know about that could be effective against Sasuke. That would be interesting because Oro has been behind the scenes for a long time now. NW Order for Life response, I have several reasons for my belief. First of all, how would Kishi draw Naruto versus... and that's the one that I already read, and that was out of order. Okay. And let's see, responding to that... Okay, your argument, and this is DT Ninja 31. I know I'm skipping around here, but it's a little bit confusing. Okay, a lot confusing for me. Your argument is good, and I respect your opinion on why Ocharu has changed for the better. However, I still don't see it that way. His words can be interpreted different ways, just as Hashirama had a different view that Madara about his sage's wisdom. You see Orochimaru as coming to terms with his obsession for Sasuke, admiring him and wanting him to grow stronger. I see Orochimaru as pretending to change in order to get closer to what he truly desires. I have to say, like I say, I want Orochimaru to be a villain, whether he's the final villain or not. I want him to be a villain, and there's nothing for me. There's normally a process for someone to. There's a lot of people. Okay, I mean, if he's gonna, I'm a good guy now. There's a lot of people he's hurt, and I would think that there would be a lot of things he'd be doing, but I don't buy it. I as I've already mentioned several times, I don't think he's going to end up being a good guy at all. All right, appreciate your comments, Tyler Johnson. It's just like I thought. Jugo was completely taken over Sasuke's body with a curse seal, but this time Oro will have learned from his mistake and will have a way to counter the Sharingan and take Sasuke's body. Well, he can do Ito. He's going to have Kabuto. Remember last time, I don't even know if he was just waiting to get killed last time, to be perfectly honest. His body was about to go anyhow. He may have simply been waiting for Sasuke to come in and finish that body off so he could just hang out and do what he did, just hanging out. Okay. If he really wanted to get brought back, he could have had Kabuto bring him back. But he was just like, I'll just float out here for a while. Right? That's what it looked like to me. And then they conveniently found the scroll. Remember Jugo punched that thing in there. And the whole thing about being able to see. So I think that he can see what's going on with Jugo all the time because he's just a curse. He's the foundation of the curse seal. So I think the connection between Jugo and Orochimaru is way deeper and stronger than a lot of people want to admit to. Okay, and let's see. G. Gorsi. Hey people, remember, we know Jugo can use natural energy, but that didn't make him Senju. If Sasuke has Jugo cells, that does not mean he will get Rinnegan. Jugo is not Senju clan. Okay, bringing this up. And then we got Panamantis. Love how everyone's coming together. 5 Kages are back. I think it's about time Kurama combined together. It would be interesting. I kind of gotten used to them being separate, to be honest, though. But love the chapter. Love the review, Steve. One question. Has anyone noticed that the Orochimaru look alike at the summit? A lot of people have definitely, as you've seen so far, have. And in response to you is NW Order for Life. People are theorizing this person is related to Oro in some way. Possibly his grandfather or even his father, if he would share Oro's longevity, or even him, which is what I think a lot of people are getting at, which would be extraordinarily interesting, would it not? Yet another person from the past destroying one of their possible descendants for their own craziness stuff. NW Order for Life. Rampage. Kakashi is not in this chapter. I'm not really excited about the Kage arriving. No, he possibly was in the last chapter, which I mentioned several times, like page 15 land. It looks like him. I have no idea what they can do to help. Sasuke's using, what they'll do is they'll have a flashback and they'll throw that little panel again and then have a few more and say he's been back, and then he does, what he's going to do. Sasuke using Jugo's chakra like Senjutsu was expected. Naruto is going to fight Oro Sasuke hybrid. Kishi is wrapping up his manga, and a final fight with Naruto vs. Sasuke is the best we're going to get. I'm not, like I say a million times, Oro Sasuke, that would be the ticket right there at the end. That would be brilliant. Alright, appreciate your comments. And let's see. DT9J831 has a few comments. Okay. Oh, and I just forgot, I saw your video that you made, your anime video, music video that you made. Everybody, DT Ninja makes a lot of these anime videos, music videos and everything. Puts them together. It's pretty good stuff. You can go ahead and click into DT Ninja, since you can't have videos within the So you can go ahead and click into DT Ninja 831. Go ahead and check his site out if you want to see some of his stuff that he's mixed up. Alright, I really did appreciate you sent me one. I took a look at it and I thought it was pretty cool. Alright, so reading more. Okay, it's interesting though, if Madara had the ability to connect with Kurama on a level like Naruto, or could then learn to share his power with others, he could have avoided all this madness. After all, it was these misunderstandings that led to all this disappointment, betrayal, and despair. On the other hand, he has been able to bring all the shinobi together. Nice review, and keep up the great work. Alright. More from DT Ninja 831. I also like how the Alliance could feel these memories of Hashi. And his pain as well. Of losing his friend, the pain of not seeing his dream come to fruition. It was great to see how everyone was connected and could finally understand who this man was and what he stood for. What he is and was trying to accomplish. Everyone could finally understand each other. And the Kages finally arrived, and the only two people left to convince are waiting for the end of the world. Great chapter, a short but insightful read. I like the history behind it all and how we saw the first Kage summit. It was interesting to see how the different nations reacted to Hashirama's proposal and how disputes arose before they even decided on anything. Yeah, that was pretty messed up. I mean, we already had threats of war if the Kazakage demanded requests of extra money and land, and it was evident that this system would have problems, and Hashirama always kept believing that they could still make it work. I mean, the problem was the two brothers he was too soft. Let's just admit it. The first Hokage was too soft, and his brother was too hard. So he was too hardcore, and the first wasn't hardcore enough. So and together I guess as long as they were both alive, there was somewhat of a balance. But of course, when the first is gone, then you just have hardcore root, Toby Rama, and that just your balance is gone. And always appreciate your comments, DT31. Great stuff. Life in a boat. The first Hokage put a beating on all the tailed beasts. Hamaranja, okay. I'll work on it. Oh, trying to create a name? Okay. Michael Green. Michael Green has several comments. Let me go ahead and start reading those. Michael Green. I think it's the first time I've seen you, but maybe before. But if it's the first, welcome to making comments here. Ever since Sasuke brought Ocharu back, I was convinced it was under the premise that he would use him to Edo Tensei all of the slaughtered Uchiha back to life. That's been talked about for a while. That idea came to its peak when Team Snake made its way back to Konoha. It's seeming like my theory ship is sailing now, but wouldn't that fit Sasuke's MO so well? That's yeah, at least on some level, at least to get some questions. I think that there's more stuff there. Maybe something happened with that, maybe not. He would appreciate the presence of his clan, even if they were our shells himself. We've already seen him want to keep Edo Itachi around, so it doesn't seem far-fetched. No, it doesn't. Michael Green continues. Now that we know Naruto and Sasuke will most likely attack Obito in tandem next chapter, I have a feeling Sasuke will provide Kurama and Sasuke armor just like the flashback with Madara, right, and versus Hashirama. Kishi has used foreshadowing before with Naruto's Sage Biju mode. That makes a lot of sense. Unless the 5 Kages have some senjutsu I'm unaware of. That's let me stop here. The five Kages, present Kages, may in reality only be here not to save the day, but just to make the point of where they're at unified to where the first Kages were just fighting each other. It may simply be as a point. They may not actually, believe it or not, they may not have an actual role a major role in defeating, you know, Toby. They just might not. That may be their only purpose. Okay, let me find my place again. Unless the 5 Kagis have some senjutsu I'm aware of, I don't see how their presence in this fight can tip the balance. I see them adding support in the form of a distraction at best, not to say they would be fodder, but they won't be deciding the outcome either. And I might have I stopped reading. Okay, I actually read that one. Okay. And one more from Michael Green. A prospect I do find interesting is the possibility of Kishi conveniently deciding it's been 1,000 years since the fruit sprouted on the tree. Would surprise me if Kishi implemented that. Could that be part of Madara's trump card? I think he explained the whole switch thing. I think we kind of know what that is. At least I think we know what that is now. What would happen if someone were to eat the fruit and again in general? Well, the fruit, or like I say, I think that the fruit may end up appearing by transformation or something like that, and be allowed to do whatever the hell it was supposed to do. What was its purpose? It may have been every 1,000 years the world would be at war, and this thing would bloom, and then they'd be at peace, and then toward the end they'd be at war. You know, that may be what it is. The plan itself was to help keep peace. So there we go. Okay, appreciate your comments. Especially if they're, well, I always appreciate everyone's comments, but if they're even new, then great. You know, do more. You did a good job. All right, let's see. Janisorf. Naruto. So if ninjas get chakra from the god tree, then where did the god tree get chakra from? The chicken and the egg. We get into this thing. Who knows? But I do like this. Toby Rama. I invented it. Bam. That actually should be a t-shirt. That would be fantastic. Very good line. Okay, and let's see. G. Gorsey. Toby Rama, I invented it. I'm just glad that everyone is in the battlefield now. No more switching in between fights, and no more waiting months for characters to get to the battlefield and shit. Although personally, I'm much more concerned with Shikamaru's condition. He needs to quit messing around and tell me if he's dead or not. I think Madara's trump card is control Hashirama with his black rod. Controlling Hashirama? We will see him attacking Hashirama with that, and then use Hashirama's Sage Mode to help him attack Obito and defeat him. Madara has Hashirama cells, but that does not mean that he can use Sage Mode. Sage Jutsu is you can learn it, not in blood. Jutsu means you learn it, not in the blood. Okay, so if Madara takes control over Hashirama's body, he may be able to use Sage Mode. I think he's already got his trump card set up, but you could be making a point. He didn't say he'll attack me. He may have some kind of setup, so it would be. But his record is not good with even a less powerful first. So, yeah, we'll see how that works. He's so much that giant Buddha with a million hand thing again and put the smackdown on him. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I question that one. All right, appreciate your comments. And A. Ismail. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, why Shikamaru? Yeah, Shikamaru's thing is, I'm just not that concerned about it. If I go in this next chapter and Shikamaru dies, I wanted him to be Hokage. I wanted actually at the end for Naruto to grow up and go, you know what, this has been my dream, but you know who's the best person, right, is Shikamaru. He would be the best Hokage because he's a genius. I think that would be an awesome move all the way around in his point. So that's the only reason I want him to live. His character's okay to me. He's a good genius type character. But other than that, I'm not that attached to him, to be honest. Okay, and let's see. DT Ninja 831. That's interesting. I like the idea, but how would he get back? Okay, hold on. G. Gorsey again. Okay. Yeah, okay. G. Gorsey. I think Shikamaru will meet his father like Kakashi did when he was killed by Nagato. So there is a chance that he will meet his father. So Shika gives advice how to stop the God Tree. Maybe Perhaps maybe I'm completely wrong. It's just thinking in a DT Ninja response. That's interesting. I like that idea, but how would he get back? Maybe will see a vision and he's dying and his father tells him something. Either way, it's creative. Nice comment. I do think it's very good. I actually agree with that. That is a possibility. It's amazing how many possibilities. Like I said, there's the old expression of someone painting themselves into a corner. And but this is, you know, Kishimoto does exactly the opposite most of the time. You got 50 bazillion doors, trap doors, windows to crawl through. The deck. He has so many different ways he can get to different places and bring different things in. It's just absolutely amazing. And the last comment, Genosaur. Anyone disappointed with how the Kages looked? They should have looked epic and badass, but instead they looked like pensioners. LOL. One of them looked like a Lord of the Rings type character. Ha ha. I'm going to spin this a little bit. I'm not going to. This isn't exactly what you said, but I'll spin it a little bit. If you're looking for Naruto's kind of notorious for, they were old. There were a lot of old dudes in there, but that would be normal. That's what normal. That's another reason that Gaara is abnormal, and then there was the other guy that looks another small one, that the young ones are so abnormal, or the fourth. There are young ones, but they're not the typical people. Normally, you got some very old ninja that's been around for a long time that is the one in charge. So that's kind of normal. But if the cragginess and just general, I know you're mainly talking about them being epic or badass, but if you don't like the looks of them as in an attractive way, I would suggest looking at Fairy Tail. I'm not talking about getting caught up with it. Just look at any thing in Fairy Tail, and they'll look usually pretty attractive or whatever. That doesn't really pertain to your comment, but I just threw it in there. Alright, it's going to be the end of this. Now look, I do these. Why do I do these? Why do I spend almost an hour and a couple times over an hour doing these things? Why? Because I enjoy them. It's because I enjoy doing these. I love hearing your comments. And it isn't just the feedback. I learn, like I say, I am a below average Naruto fan with my knowledge base and everything else. I'm not a guru. I'm very extraordinarily honest about this. But interacting, getting your comments, having some laughs too along the way, I learned so much. In my opinion, it turns me into an above average fan, which I really appreciate. I would have never be able to enjoy this. I know this sounds self-centered, but that's why are we all here? Because we're enjoying something. We're all getting something out of it. But I simply wouldn't be able to get anywhere near out of Naruto without everyone making the comments and us having this channel the way it is, which I really appreciate. And it's gonna, and like I say, I know I don't mean to harp on it, but it's going away next year. So it's another reason I am an older person, and maybe it makes me a little more nostalgic. But younger people just realize that this time next year that you'll be way past this, and maybe we'll be in Kishimoto's next thing or what have you. But enjoy things while they're there. And like I say, once again, I appreciate every one of you that put yourself out, put your comments down, because most people will not do that. I have almost 1,000 subscribers, and do I get, and do all 1,000 people make comments? No. No, they don't. And even if I get, my reviews, I guess, are less than 500 now or what have you. But do all 500 people or what have you make comments? No, they don't. So I appreciate every single one of you do, and I hope that more people out there get in here and have comments. If you're ever going to do it, this is actually a very good channel for it, because people are pretty good. We got some awesome people on this channel. I really do appreciate everyone. Anyone can be an anime fan. You can always subscribe. You can always unsubscribe. You can do anything you want to. Until next time, take care.